Hi everyone! In today's video I will be showing you my upcoming summer designs. So I have been very busy knitting a lot of things, and I have a lot of things here next to me that I want to show you. A lot of summer knits, new designs for the upcoming season, or actually the season has already started. At least here in Finland we are enjoying really nice sunny weather. So a lot of summer knits on my needles at the moment. I also have a couple of older things that I want to talk about, and designs that I just released or will be releasing very soon. So let's get on with it. Many of you already know that I love knitting summer things. It's actually my favorite time of the year to knit. I really love making all kinds of summer t-shirts, tops and other little accessories that you can wear during the warmer months. I do love also knitting sweaters, but there's something really special about summer knits. I'm really like a summer person. Even though I'm born in December, like in the middle of the winter, the darkest part of the year, summer is my favorite season, and I love everything about it. I love knitting for it. I love thinking about what I want to wear in the summer and thinking about my outfits and kind of like dreaming about all the events that I will go to, all the concerts and all the hanging around in the park and all the sitting on the terrace and stuff, and what to wear. And I think summer knitting is a large part of that. So Luna is here again. She is always joining my videos, and she was already waiting for me to start the camera. As soon as she knew, as soon as she saw that I will be coming here, she immediately hopped on the table and she's been waiting next to me to start filming. So here she is. Yeah, but summer knits is the topic of today's video. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Sari and I'm a knitwear designer from Finland. You are watching my knitting podcast videos, and this is my cat Luna. And Luna, she's been with us since 2011, so that's already 13 years ago, and she is a rescue cat, so we don't really know anything about her life before 2011. We adopted her from the cat shelter in Vaasa, which is our former hometown before we moved to Helsinki. And we used to live really close to the cat shelter, so quite often when I went for evening walks I walked by the house, and they had this caged area outside the shelter house, and some of the cats could go there on their own in the evenings and kind of like take in the outside air without the risk of them running away. So we visited the shelter a couple of times. I wanted to have a dog. I had been talking about getting a dog for quite many years. We already had 2 cats at that point, and I wanted to have a dog, and I had finally gotten my now husband, but he was then my boyfriend at that time, to agree on getting a dog. And then when I found the cat shelter and I noticed that there were so many animals without a home, I started to feel bad about taking like a breeded dog and waiting for a puppy on like a list when there were already so many animals without a home. So instead of getting a dog at that point, we decided to take in a third cat. And both me and my partner, we think that Luna chose us, not the other way around. We went to see the cats and Luna immediately came to us and sat in my lap and started purring, so we kind of fell in love with her immediately. And she's been with us ever since, so for 13 years already, and we don't know her age. She wasn't a kitten, so she was a full-grown cat when she came to us. They estimated her age between 1 year and 3 years at that point, so that would make her anything between 14 to 16 years at this moment. So she's our granny cat now, and I can't think of my life without her in it. She's so special to me. But that's everything about our cat. I was going to talk about summer thing, but then I got sidetracked with telling the story of Luna. But I can start with what I'm wearing at the moment. So this is something that I just finished knitting last week, and I've been kind of like wearing it non-stop ever since. So this is actually the same design as this one. You might remember this from a year ago. So this is the Salkråkan t-shirt that I made a year ago. So it's not a new pattern, but I already released it last spring. So that's already available on Ravelry, and I think it's also in my Shopify shop. I will link all the patterns and all the yarns below this video, so you can easily check them out. So I will link all the Ravelry links and all the Shopify links to all patterns that I'm showing, and I will also write the yarn names and the colorway names that I talk about in this video, so you can easily find them there and check them out if you want to see what I'm talking about in more depth. So this is the Salkråkan t-shirt that I knitted last year, and this is actually the same design. I just left out the stripes, so this is the unicolor version of it. So it's not in the pattern. The pattern is written for the striped version, but just leave out the stripes and make it in just one color. And this is knitted from top down, so you start with the neckband, you fold it double, and then there are some increased rounds over the yoke. Then you separate the sleeves from the yoke, and the rest is kind of like straight. And the hem and the sleeves are folded, so you sew the folded edge on the inside. So it kind of gives it like very minimalistic look, so there's no ribbing anywhere. So it's very basic, very minimalistic, just folded edges everywhere. And the yarn that I used for this one is Isager Trio 2, and this is the colorway Khaki, and it's a really beautiful brownish green color. This is actually one of my favorite colors, and I think these kinds of greens like olive green and khaki green, they all look really good on my skin tone, so that's one of the reasons I always seem to gravitate towards green, like earthy green shades such as this one. So this is the same yarn that I used for this one, so this is also knitted in Isager Trio 2, and this is the navy, and I think this was called linen colorways, and it's a mixture of cotton, I think lyocell, linen and cotton and lyocell, and it's marked as sport weight, but I think it's knit it knits up more like fingering weight yarn. So I used 3mm needles for this one, and it's actually the same that I used for the Rococo top. So I also knitted this with 3mm needle, and the gauge is very similar, even though this is knitting for olives pure silk, so it's a light fingering weight yarn, whereas this is marked as sport weight. Let's take this off so I can use the doorknobs for my hangers. So I really loved this one, so I immediately went to my local yarn store and I got it in another colorway, and Luna is now sitting on it. So this is the Chestnut colorway. So this is like very dark brown, and I'm going to make a similar Salkråkan unicolor tee with the brown one. So I think these are going to be something that I'm going to be living in during the whole summer. So it's kind of like very airy and breezy, and I think the yarn is really suitable for summer knitting. So this is going to be my second Salkråkan tee. Another design that I just released is the Ballard Vest, and this I have been showing you in my videos. So if you have been watching my videos this spring, you have seen this one earlier. So this pattern is now released and it's available on Ravelry and in my Shopify shop. So this is the Ballard Vest, and you might remember I made also a Ballard t-shirt and a Ballard pullover, so there's now kind of like the whole family of the Ballard patterns. And this one is also knitted top down, so you start with the back and make some increases here on the sides and put the stitches on hold when you reach the armholes, and then you knit the sides of the neck, join them at the front, and then continue until the armholes before joining everything in the round. And this also has a folded hem, so I really love this part, how the cable pattern kind of like just stops and then there's the fold, so there's no ribbing either over here. So I wanted to keep it very minimalistic, and one of the reasons I like making folded hems for summer knits is that they kind of like weigh down, so it doesn't start to roll. And also I kind of like, because I often like to tuck my knits in the pants or in the skirt. I have noticed that quite a many times if you have ribbing, and especially if I have used a tubular bind off, the bottom hem will start stretching. I want to show you. I actually have one knit there next to me that is going into my to fix pile, so I'm going to be ripping the bottom hem this evening. Just a second, I'll just grab it. So here is the Diana tee that I made last spring, and also this pattern is available on Ravelry and in my Shopify shop, and it looks really good. As you can see it here now that you don't see the bottom hem, but you can see that the bottom hem has started to flare, and it has flared a lot. And one of the reasons this has happened is because it's knitted with silk yarn, so it doesn't, the silk yarn doesn't really have the kind of stretch that, for example, merino yarn has. So if you have merino yarn, if you stretch it, it kind of like bounces back. But silk, cotton, linen, like harder fibers like that don't have the kind of stretch, so they don't really have the ability to bounce back into its like original shape. So even though if you have ribbing, and usually ribbing pulls itself back together, once it starts to stretch, it kind of like stays as it is, so it doesn't kind of like bounce back. And that is something that has happened to this t-shirt, and especially you can see it when I'm wearing it, so you can really see how the bottom has started to flare. So if I kind of like stretch it out with my hands a bit, you can see the flaring at the bottom, and I don't like that. So the thing that I'm going to do tonight is to undo the bind off from the hem. Here you can really see how it starts to flare, so it's not really pretty. So I'm going to take off rip back to ribbing, and I will redo it with even smaller needle size, and then I will use not tubular bind off but usual bind off method that is not as stretchy, to kind of like keep the bottom edge from flaring. So that's something that I'm going to do next. I will get back to this a bit later. I will talk a bit more about the flaring bottom edges. So here's the Mila top, and for the Mila top I made these double knitted edges for the armholes and the neck, and I was going to do a folded hem for this one as well, but with the cotton yarn and with this all over cable pattern, when I started to fold the bottom edge, it became so thick that I didn't really like it. So that's why I decided to do a short ribbing, and here I made like this normal bind off, not a tubular bind off, so it doesn't stretch if you compare it with this one. So this is very stretchy, and this is the reason why I like using tubular bind off for my sweaters, because it is stretchy and it's very nice to wear. It doesn't kind of like tug on anything when you wear it. But the disadvantage is that when you're doing it with yarns that aren't stretchy, it starts to flare really easily. So that's why I'm going to undo this hem and redo it in the same way as I have done for this one. So for woolen sweaters I prefer using tubular bind off because it's pretty and it's stretchy, but it's not very suitable for this yarn, and it's something that I have learned during the past year, that it flares. And I also have the same problem with my collet tee, so I'm going to be undoing the hem of my collet tee as well and doing the same operation for it, so I get to wear it more. The collet tee hasn't flared as much as this one, but it has flared. So I have been quite busy lately. I haven't really taken on any outside commission work for a long time. I have been wanting to kind of like concentrate on my own designs, but in the past few months I have been doing kind of like some secret designing for a couple of instances, and it's always when I have something secret I can't really show you them on Instagram, and I can't show anything of them on here on YouTube either. So it's a bit tricky, because my Instagram and my YouTube is about what I knit, and if I knit things that I'm not allowed to show, then what can I show you? Of course I can show you the designs when they come out, but at this point I can't really show anything of them to you. Also, I have been traveling again a bit, and I also will be going for another trip on Thursday. So today is Monday, so a couple of days, and I will be flying off to Philadelphia. So there's going to be the KNITOPIA Philadelphia event during the Memorial Day weekend. So if you want to join, I think there are still a couple of spots left, and you can also get the courses from the weekend, like individual courses, so you don't have to join the whole retreat or the whole event. So you can only come for a couple of courses and pick the ones that you like the most. So there's going to be me and of course the hostess of the whole event, Melissa Liebman, and other teachers will be Lisa Ross and Romy Hill. So I'm in very good company. And so during the weekend I will be teaching 6 different courses, and 5 of them are more like project based, and then there's one more on technique course. So that's going to be increasing and decreasing in cable pattern. So that's the technique course that I will be teaching, and then I will be teaching, for example, the poetry pullover. So you will learn all the lace techniques, increases, knitting in the round, the tubular kind of technique that I just mentioned, and other things during the class. So we will be starting making the swatch. So with the swatch you will learn to read the charts and all the stitches that you need for the poetry pullover. I will also be teaching the Ruka pullover, which is a circular yoke, a Fair Isle stranded knitting pattern, like with an Icelandic pattern on the yoke. And with that course also we will be learning all the stitches you need for that. I will give you a bit of tricks on how I like knitting color work, and also talk a bit about color theory, so how to choose your own colors for the best result. Then there's going to be a tahka cardigan class, and I have made this like a mini cardigan that we are going to make, because we're going to learn the increases, the shaping of the cardigan, and it would be too much if you had to start making the whole cardigan, then we wouldn't get past the top of the cardigan during the class. So that's why I designed this mini cardigan version for the class. Also there's going to be the Diona. You can either choose the pullover or this t-shirt version. So we're going to learn the cables, the short row shaping, and the last one was the Moon River cable hat, so which is a top-down hat. And also for that one, the top-down hat technique increases, and I will also be teaching cables without cable needle. The same goes for this design as well. So if any of those sound interesting to you, I will link the event below this video so you can check that out. And I already talked about this one. So this is the Mila top, and I will be releasing this pattern in maybe at the end of this week or the next week. I don't know yet how my schedule is with traveling to Philadelphia, if I have time to release it this week, but if I don't, then it's coming next week. So this is started at the shoulders the same way as the Ballard top, and then worked towards the armholes, and then you work the front separately, join them around and work the body in the round. And the cable pattern is actually a lot easier than it looks like. So after a few pattern repeats it starts to become very intuitive. So it only has like a 12 stitch pattern repeat, and also it's only 12 rows. So this is basically the whole pattern repeat that you are making. And even though it looks like there's a lot of things happening, it's the same thing going on all the time. And I have double knitted edges over here. They take quite a long time to knit, but I think the end result is really worth it. it looks really finished and sturdy and really neat. Absolutely love it. I used We Are Knitters cotton for this one. I bought the yarn in Madrid when I was there in February. It's a really nice summer yarn. Really liked knitting it with it, even though I don't really like knitting with cotton that much. And at the moment I'm working on a vest version of the same design, so instead of a v-neck it's going to have a button band all the way down and buttons on the front. I left it downstairs, but I will show you the yarn that I'm using for it. So this is Knitting for Olives pure silk, and the colorway is called Brown Bear, and I'm holding the yarn duffel. So this is a very dark brown. It's almost black. It's kind of like the color of wet soil. So it's beautiful dark brown color. So like I said, it's going to be the same as this one. It's going to have the same v-neck, but the button band will continue all the way down, and it's going to have buttons on the front. So that's something that is on my needles at the moment. One more thing that has been released, and then I will start talking about everything I have on my needles. So the book club cardigan pattern is finally out. I just released the pattern on Friday, and there are going to be a couple of knit alongs for it during the summer. Not hosted by me, but hosted by other knitters. So this is the book club cardigan, and here you can see it. It has like these pockets over here and a double knitted button band. It has the European style dropped shoulder and long sleeve. So I used a sport weight organic wool yarn from my knitted closet for this one, as well as their silk mohair. But you can use any sport weight yarn with silk mohair, or maybe if you want to skip the silk mohair, you could use, for example, Dererum Naturus Gilead or Knitting for Olives Heavy Merino, or some other worsted weight yarn. So this is such a favorite of mine, and I'm so happy that it's finally out and you also get to wear this one. So the book club cardigan started, I first came up with the name, and this was like a year and a half ago, and I can't even remember where I got the idea for the name, but when it came to my mind, I immediately knew that this is going to be such a good name for a cardigan. And then I started to think, how do I feel like a book club cardigan should look like? And I decided that it has to be a very classic cable. It has to have pockets, it has to have buttons. And then I was at Love Yarn Madrid event a bit over a year ago, and I saw the yarns over there, so I immediately knew that these yarns are destined to become this cardigan. But February is already kind of like too late to start knitting like very warm winter cardigans, or to release the pattern, because if I would start to knit something like this in February, and it takes me 2 weeks to a month depending on what else I'm working on and the complexity of the project and so on. So let's say it takes me 1 month to finish the cardigan, then we are already in March and we have tech editing, test knitting and so on. So I thought that it would be too late in the year for me to release the pattern. So I decided to postpone it for a year, and it happened that again I started, I think it was at the end of January, because I started making this when I was in Seattle, and then I had so many other things that I was working on that it's now mid-May when I'm releasing the pattern, but I'm so happy that everybody's still super excited about this pattern, even though it's not a summer pattern. It's more warm season, cold season, warmer knit for cold seasons. I'm getting lost. But anyway, here's the book club cardigan. So then the things that I have on my needles. So let's start with this one. So here's my Lume pullover. Lume tee, not pullover. So I already made the Lume pullover a couple of years ago, and it has been such a favorite among all the knitters, and I wanted to make also a matching t-shirt. And you might remember I actually started making it last year, but the yarns that I chose that time, they didn't have enough contrast, so I decided to skip that. And then summer went by and I didn't have time to make it, so this year I decided to start again, and I chose yarns with a bit more contrast. So I'm using Knitting for Olive's Pure Silk for this one. So this is the colorway Bark and this is the colorway Cream, and I've been holding, no, it's the colorway Putty, not Cream. So I've been holding the yarn double, both yarns double, so it matches kind of like DK weight. And I changed the neckband, so it has this I-cord neckband and it has folded cuffs for the sleeves, and I'm still working on the body, so it's going to be just straight, and it will also have a folded hem at the bottom. So this is my Lume tee. It's currently being test knitted, so I will be releasing the pattern in mid-June. So it's another upcoming pattern, and this is actually a really simple color work, so it's very easy to knit. So it doesn't have very long strands of yarn here at the back, so the patterns are very short everywhere, so I think that makes it very beginner friendly. So this is the Lume tee that I'm making. Another thing that I made with Knitting for Olive's Pure Silk is the Rococo tee that I already showed you. So I was first going to knit the Lume tee with a single strand of each color, but then I realized that this is already knitted with 3mm, so that's a 2.5 US needle, and you can see it's a bit see-through. So if I wanted to make it with color work, the other yarn would kind of like shine through, so I would have to go even more down with the needle size, and I think that would be quite small needle, so that's why I decided to hold the yarn double for the Lume tee. But this has lace pattern on the sleeves, so it's the same lace that I used for my Rococo pullover as well as the Rococo top last summer. So it only has the lace on the sleeves, and otherwise it's very simple. So it has also the same kind of I-cord neckband and also the folded hem that I'm going to do for the Lume tee as well. So here we have also an I-cord bind off for the sleeves. So this pattern is also being test knitted, and I will be releasing the pattern around midsummer. That was such a fun make. I'm already thinking about making another one. I just have to kind of like pick the yarn that I want to do, and maybe for the second version to leave out the bubbles. So the bubbles over here are optional in the pattern, so if you don't want to make bubbles for your tee, you can always leave them out. So one of the things that I decided to make more this summer is dark knits. I actually only have one black sweater that I have knitted myself, and I have been using that one a lot. It's the Odette pullover from a few years ago. So decided to do more dark colored knits. So one of them is the Ballard Vest that I made. Also this one, the Poetti. It's more like dark grey, and I have a dark grey collet top over here, as well as a totally black little camisole pattern. So I was maybe thinking about using Knitting for Olives pure silk in black for this one and leave out the bubbles, so make a second one in black with just lace and stockinette stitch. So I want to have a couple of like darker knits for this summer. I also have this yarn over here, you might see it. So it's from Samlin Dye Works. I bought it from Madrid, and that's going to be very simple summer tee as well. So that's something that I'm going to take with me to Philadelphia. I should just like wind the yarn before leaving. So it's going to be simple raglan t-shirt with small cables on the raglan. So that's something that I kind of like want to have in my wardrobe. But let's get back to these. I think you want to see more of these. So this is the collet top, and ever since I made the collet tee last summer, this cable and lace pattern has become one of my favorite things to knit. It's very simple, so you only have a couple of rows with cables, very simple cables, and then this most minimalistic lace pattern in between, so it doesn't get boring to make it. It's kind of like with stripes, you always go until the next stripe. So this is kind of like stripes. You have the cable part, then you have the lace part, and again the cable part, and so on. So I already thought about making a collet top last summer, but I didn't have time to do it. So here you can, if I open up the pattern a bit, this is like very lightly steamed, so it opens up more, whereas the hem, I haven't done anything to it yet, so it kind of like shrinks together. And this also has double knitted edges around the armholes and the neck, and the cable and lace pattern all over. So here's the back of it. I still have a bit of knitting to do before the hem. So I was thinking about maybe adding one more cable pattern over here, and let's see if I have room to make the lace as well, and then it's going to have a folded edge the same way as the Ballard Vest over there. And the yarn that I'm using for this one is linen from Sundance Garn, and this is the colorway 6080, and it's a DK weight yarn. It's also cotton, viscose and linen, so it's a very dark gray color. And this is the top that I was showing. Put the yarn like it should be. So this is knitted with a single strand of Knitting for Olives pure silk. So it has this, you can see, actually you can see everything on it. So that's one of the bad things about knitting with black. So you can see all the cat hair on it. But anyway, it's very basic V-neck camisole on the front, but for the back I need these little ribbons. So this is going to be on the back back side of it. And there's... this is one of the reasons why I don't really knit with black, because it's so hard to photograph. So if you want to make a design with black yarn, you probably have to do it also with some other color, because it's so hard to show all the details everywhere over here. So it really has to catch the light for you to see these little details. But it has these like bow ribbons on the back, and doesn't really have a name yet. I was asking about names on Instagram and somebody suggested Antoinette from Marie Antoinette, and I really like that name, so it's going to probably be called Antoinette top. So like I said, I have to make it in another colorway as well, because the black is so hard to photograph. But I really like little ribbons that I made over here. I have one more thing I wanted to show you in today's video. Actually, two more things. So this is the Sierra top. I already showed this to you in my previous video. So this is also currently being test knitted, and the bottom will come in June. So it's knitted top down, and it's knitted with Knitting for Olives pure silk in two colors. So this one is with dark cognac and wheat, so it gives this really nice marled fabric, and it has I-cord edges, and again the folded hem. That's my favorite for summer knitting, like I told you. And I already started this in a second color as well, but it's a very quick knit because you're holding the yarn double. It's kind of like a loose gauge, and I'm using 5mm needles. Just show this to you. So what I have done so far is the back until armholes, and I started on the fronts. Just picked up stitches for the right front. No, this is the other way around, sorry. This is the front. Usually always knit the back first and then the front, but with this pattern you first make the front and then the back. So we are making that at the moment. So here you can see, here's the front and then the backs, and using yellow and white for this one, so it's a lighter color. Also Knitting for Olives pure silk, so this is the colorway cream and this is the colorway lemon curd, and it's coming up looking like this. And the last thing, a new pattern that is coming out very soon. So I didn't knit this myself, this was knitted by my sample knitter. So this is the Calliope Tea, and it's the same pattern as this one, the Calliope pullover that is on the cover of my book, and you can find the pattern in my book Softly Timeless Knits. So the pattern for the Calliope pullover is only in this book and nowhere else, so I haven't put it out for just have to find it for you here in the book. One of my favorite things about my book is the contents page, so you can find all the designs easily. So we have the name of the design and also a photo, and here's the rest of the designs. So if you want to find a certain design, it's very easy to find. So Calliope is on page 97. So this is the Calliope pullover. You can also see on the cover. And here, a couple of more photos. And over there. So I decided to make a t-shirt version of the same design. So this is the Calliope tee, so it has the same lace pattern on the yoke, but only it has short sleeves instead of longer ones. So I will be releasing this pattern very soon. I think at the beginning of June. So if you don't have the book, you can get this pattern and make your own Calliope tee instead of the pullover. And like I said, I still have a couple of other things that I've been working on that are secret, that I can't show you at the moment. You just have to wait. One more thing at the end. A lot of you have been asking me about whether I will be hosting a summer sock knit along this summer, and I decided to do a summer shawl knit along instead. So we are going to make 3 little shawls this summer, and we are starting on June 8th, which is the Knitting Public Day. And I have a very special little shawl design coming up. Madelon, our other cat, is over there. He is hungry. It's almost his time to eat, so he's telling me that he should be getting food. But yeah, I was talking about the summer shawl knit along. So all the shawls are going to be small, like my Laulu shawl, for example. So you will be needing either 100 grams of DK weight yarn or one ball, like a 50-gram ball of fingering weight yarn, and one ball of mohair for each of the shawls. So they're going to be very small shawls this summer. And we are starting on June 8th, and then the next patterns will be coming at the beginning of July and beginning of August. So we will be knitting 3 little shawls, and I can't show you the first shawl yet. It's going to be something super special, but it's also for another event. I'm like doing 2 things at the same time. So starting off the summer shawl knit along and releasing a pattern for another really fun event on the same day. So everybody gets to buy the pattern on the same day, and it kicks off the summer shawl knit along. But I will be telling you more about that at the beginning of June, when I can start showing you the design that I have planned for that thing. It's super nice. I'm sure you are going to love it. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things at the moment, and I can't wait to show you more. But that's everything for today. If I don't see you in Philadelphia next week, I hope to catch you at some other event very soon, or in my next YouTube video. Bye!